Hi, I'm Chris Manella, and this is the Step Over podcast.
Hi, I'm Antoine Coupland, and this is Step Over podcast.
Hi, bonjour, and welcome to the Step Over podcast, the hyper Ottawa focused soccer podcast. And I put out episodes, whenever I feel like it. But with the CPL season starting tomorrow and Atletico Ottawa playing their first game of 2021 tomorrow, I felt like putting out an episode today. And I'm counting myself pretty darn lucky to have two fantastic guests for this episode. I was able to chat with Atletico Ottawa midfielders Chris Manella and Antoine Coupland. Both are former Fury FC players. Both just excellent guys. They're back from Spain. They're in the CPL bubble in Winnipeg. They're going to be playing 8 games there, kind of isolated before returning to their home markets and hopefully getting back to something close to normal. But yeah, I was able to have a great chat with them. How Spain was, how they're feeling going into the season, how things are going as roommates, as it turns out. So I'm not going to waste any time. Here's my chat with Chris Manella and Antoine Coupland. Lately, when I'm talking with friends that I haven't seen in a while, I find I'm looking at their hair and whose hair has changed during the pandemic. Who's looking fresh. How have you guys been staying, looking good while barbers have been, closed down?
Antoine, I'll take it. From the beginning. So I've had a few home haircuts. If you kind of follow on my Instagram or kind of just look at kind of the year to 16 months, kind of all over the place. Last year with York, decided to dye my hair at home because we were bored. Turned out kind of a wild of colors. I was blonde for a bit, and then I went kind of silver, and then it started falling out because we did it wrong. So I cut it pretty short. And then this time around, coming to the bubble, I thought, you know what, barbers are closed in Toronto, and okay, my girlfriend, get the clippers out. We're gonna try to do it. One thing led to another. Had pretty long hair, and we're here. So I got a little buzz cut going on. It's actually grown back since the last time, since 10 days ago, but this is where we're at. So this is how I'm staying fresh.
It's good, man. It's good.
We're kind of buzz gang going on, me and you. So
actually, no, mine's pulled back.
I didn't even see the buzz.
That's it.
Because with the top of your head, it looks like you're straight.
I know. No, this is a home cut too. I got one of those mirrors in my bathroom where each side, and just kind of buzz it back there.
Oh, that's good. It came out good though.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Antoine?
I've been keeping pretty much the same old. I don't know. I'm sure you've followed me a little bit, and since I joined the Fury, I pretty much had the same haircut. I've been keeping it clean. Here in the bubble, one of our teammates, Malcolm Shaw, he's the barber of the team.
I hear that, yeah.
He gives me nice fades on the side and on the back, here and there.
Good.
So that's how I've been staying fresh.
Awesome. Fantastic. So it occurs to me that, people listening to this, watching this, they'll probably, at the very least, they'll have heard your names, but, they might not know much more about you. So I was wondering if you could each give a quick introduction, your name, the position you play, and how you describe yourself as a player.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go.
Okay, so I'm Antoine Coupland, number 11 for Atletico Ottawa. I play in the number 10 position, so attacking midfielder. And I would describe myself as a creative player. Definitely, I like to dribble. I like to score some goals. I get very excited around the 18-yard box. I can provide some assists as well, some passing. That's how I would describe myself as a player.
Okay, and Chris?
Good little player, yeah. Good.
Not bad.
No, for me, yeah, I'm a midfielder. I can play anywhere in the midfield. Center back if I really, really have to, but don't tell any of my managers that because I'd rather not.
I know there's not many defenders signed, so I don't know. You might get pulled.
but our center backs are solid. So I hope
they're really solid. They are.
Yeah. So I hope I never have to go back there. But for me, I like to keep possession of the ball. I'm a hardworking guy. I love a good tackle. And no matter what, I'm on the pitch. I'll do whatever I can to win. So that's kind of me in a little nutshell.
Right on. Before we had this call, I didn't know that you guys were roommates. So how are you guys going as roomies?
Oh, it's been awesome, man. This guy's been like my little brother. It's funny because when I was at the Fury, in the second season, in the penultimate season of the Fury, what it ended up being, Antoine joined us midway through the year, and he was this little 15-year-old boy that we thought we were kind of bully off the ball, and then he starts cutting and chopping everyone up, and we're like, Jesus, all right, okay, this kid's got something. And then I just stayed in touch a little bit here and there. Saw him in the bubble last year, said hi, and we'll kind of always have the Fury connection at heart. And then I've kind of seen him grow in the past 2 years. It's been crazy. So we're good. We're really good. We're good friends now, especially, and I look him like a little brother.
Yeah. I've definitely been enjoying, Chris said a lot of it. We've been enjoying our time together. We've been playing some FIFA, but one thing that I'd like to mention for sure is that I'm a young guy, I'm a young player, and I could definitely learn from a lot of things from Chris, from getting back to training, doing yoga, doing stretching, everything within the recovery, sleeping patterns, eating properly. So that's one thing that I can take out of us being roommates.
Okay. Like what's okay, so so Antoine, you've learned a lot from Chris. Chris, have you kind of taken any cues from Antoine?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, he's teaching me about some like TikTok stars and stuff like that. No. I mean, listen, he's such a good kid. Like it's kind of what I would want to be in like a son. He's such a hardworking, honest kid. It's great to see. And for me, it's kind of bringing back that youth in me. I mean, I'm not old. I'm not an old game of soccer. When you're approaching 30, it's quote unquote older in the sport, and to still have the youth around me and kind of bring back that little jolt of energy is always nice, and he's the perfect one to do it with me. Right
on. Okay, so you both recently got back from Spain. You spent like 9 weeks there. I gotta know like what was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, from the facilities to first and foremost, being able to train, right? If you look at obviously all the Ontario-based teams, and even Canadian teams around the league, weren't able to train. They weren't able to train, and that's obviously something we were really, really we really benefited off of. Having a full 2 months, 9 weeks of full training every single day, getting into the rhythm, and then obviously the perks of what comes with Atletico Madrid, the facilities, the seeing everything, bringing you to the stadium, and all those kind of perks outside of the field are kind of just a cherry on top of what is almost a near perfect preseason. So it was a great experience for me, and I know even Antoine had his own experiences that I'm sure he can talk to you about, because we're seeing like players his age. We're seeing players his age in the youth systems. And I honestly believe that he can play there, and he knows he can too. So it's kind of interesting to see that dynamic and know that, these players are his age and kind of measure up to see where they're at in comparison to him.
Yeah. I think Chris touched on almost everything pretty much, but from my experience, just training at the facilities, being in the residence with some of the guys my age, seeing that I'm not that far off. I feel like I could definitely play with some of those guys. And compete, and it was definitely a good experience overall. Just a little thing, I got to see João Felix, so that was a pretty cool experience as well. Just a little storyline.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's all right. He's a good player.
I mean, he wouldn't be a bad loanee for us to take it.
We'll take him.
Just
we'll find a spot
if he wants to.
If he wants.
No, but everything, just living the experience and really knowing what it is to be part of the Atletico family. I mean, going there and training at the facilities and being part and being so close to all these professionals and even close to the academy players really made us feel like we're part of the Atletico family. It definitely did us good in terms of being able to train, like Chris said, 2 months, and now coming into the bubble ready, prepared. We know what we have to do as a team and give it our all to go and win.
Yeah, I mean, it really seems like it gives you a huge leg up. You touched on, being around, players from like Atletico, from Atletico Madrid. Were you playing with them at points, or like training with them, or how much a part of Atletico Madrid were the Atletico Ottawa players during that time?
I mean, for us, it's a difficult circumstance because of COVID, right? Sure. And then especially when we're there in a time where, I mean, if you were following them, they're 5, 6, 7 games out from winning the league, and every game means like the world, to the entire club. We were fortunate enough to see the facilities of the first team a lot. We played a few games there as well. In terms of seeing the first team actually train and being next to them and hugging them or whatever it may be, getting a picture, we couldn't because strictly COVID. I'm sure in another world or another lifetime, when things aren't this way, then absolutely, Fernando has kind of discussed it with us. He tried to get us into a training session, because those are the things he wants to be a part of our club, because he wants to show that, we are part of this Atletico family. But in terms of just a family in general, it's exactly like Antoine said. They did a perfect job, seamless job for us to be included in the Atleti family completely. Like the gyms where we're able to use, the facility, like the fields able to use, their training stuff able to use, like everything. We were a part of them, like through and through for the entire time being there. Just in terms of seeing the first team players was really the only thing you couldn't do, because just like anyone else, you can't even interact with people, more than 2 households. So it's like same thing. We weren't allowed to do that, but other than that, we were through and through at Atleti completely.
Okay. Yeah, there's lots of pictures, there's lots of videos. Looks like you got to do a bit of the tourist thing too. Like for each of you, was there like one thing that maybe stood out from the experience? Like, was there like a place, an event, or like a meal that like sticks out in particular?
For me, probably the stadium tour at Wanda. That was probably the most impressive thing. Just seeing how much history there is behind Atletico Madrid. Being able to see the size of the stadiums at the stadium, to go so close to the pitch, almost like on the bench. And everything, that was really like grandiose and really amazing to see. So for me, that was probably my favorite event outside of obviously training and playing matches and competing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, obviously the stadium was unbelievable. It's brand new, it's massive, it's state of the art. So that was incredible. But I think for me, it was kind of a different route. Was our first 2 weeks was in Segovia, which was a city or a little town, whatever it was, that I'd never heard of. But kind of learning about the whole Atletico Madrid preseason it's actually where they spend their first kind of month of preseason as well, going through quote unquote hell running and stuff like that. So I think that was pretty cool to see as well, just kind of through my experiences, seeing different kind of areas of where teams may hold preseasons. I think it was really cool to see, this is where they grind for that month or whatever it may be, to kind of bond together or run together, die, what I mean? Just they go through that whole process of the beginning of a season. So I think our first 2 weeks in Segovia, going through almost exactly the same steps as the first team would do, that was pretty cool.
Okay. Are there any lessons that you learned that you're like taking back from Spain?
Yeah, there's a bunch. The culture in general, from food to the football itself, is much different than what we're used to. It's obviously a lot more technical based game. They're very heavily on the tactic side. So I think it's not kind of just one lesson. I think it's just an overall of, if we were able to kind of open our minds and develop a little bit of the culture that they've kind of consumed over the entire nation, and then even specifically the Atleti family, if we can take a little part of their culture or the way they do things into our club and then into the Canadian Premier League, I think we'll be really successful. So I don't think it was necessarily one little thing. I think it was kind of a bunch of things that we could kind of implement as a culture and bring into our club. And I think it would help us immensely over the course of what could be a 28-game season.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think for me, one of the things as well is like being there and seeing Atletico Madrid win the La Liga title over like some of the biggest clubs in the world, Barcelona, Real Madrid. I think we can definitely take that back from our experience and bring it into our team, into our team culture. And for this season, Forge have won the league for 2 years in a row. And I think we have the quality, the players, the team to really compete and go for the title this year.
Great. So you're back in Canada now. You're not in Ottawa, but you're in Winnipeg. So every CPL team is playing 8 games at IG Field. So like it won't be the whole season. Like hopefully you'll have 20 games. Not in this bubble, but you're starting in it. How long have you been in the bubbles?
It's been a week. It's been exactly a week actually. Last Wednesday we landed and got in.
Okay, so what's bubble life like?
I mean, honestly, it's very similar to what a road game would be. You live in a hotel, you eat with the team, and you go to sleep, and you wake up and train. So similar kind of setting. But I mean, for people who may not necessarily know what an away game is like, it's you sleep in a hotel room next to your good friend, your roommate. You wake up, you go to breakfast with the team, you train, and then the only unfortunate part and what makes it a bubble is you can't leave the hotel. You got to stay in the hotel. You're confined within the spaces. But I think us as a team and us as a league understand that, COVID is very much still around. So in order to actually get us on the field, they're taking all the safety precautions necessary to make sure that this can go off without a hitch. So I think as a league, we're very much okay with, this kind of month to 5 weeks staying in this bubble, not leaving the hotels, not leaving the confines of this place, but being able to play. I think that's just everyone's kind of wish and hope. And we're just glad that we're here and we're doing it. Mm-hmm. However, we're excited to come home because we really, really want to play in Ottawa. And I think that's kind of the consensus amongst all of us from top to bottom. Yeah.
Right on. So like, are all the CPL teams like in one hotel, or like, are you sharing the hotel with a few teams? Like, what's that like?
Yeah, pretty much. We're all in one hotel. Like Chris said, we're all following the safety protocols here in order to play, because that's what we want to do at the end of the day, and play in the most safe way, and then come back to our home markets to finish the season, or whatever, the 20 games to end the season. So yeah, all the 8 teams are in the same hotel. We all have our team rooms, our own team's room, where we have where we eat. We have a common area to foam roll, to do our recovery, to bike, to maybe even lift weights, or whatever that may be, play cards, do things outside of the field, just as teammates. And I think each club has their own floor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, each club has their own kind of designated team room. So so we're not, obviously we can talk tactics in there. We can do video sessions in those team rooms. So obviously we don't want to be going into other team rooms and stuff like that. So they have us set up kind of secluded, which isn't bad. We all have our own floor as well. Yeah. Like in the rooms, we're on the 25th floor, and other teams are so on. So, I mean, there's interactions here and there, but it's more just kind of a hi-bye thing and kind of go on to your own team.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the first game, it's coming pretty quick. What's the feeling around the team right now?
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. I think, obviously with the additions which Fernando brought in and Mista brought in has been huge, and obviously people say, like you had just said, we have a leg up having trained for 9 weeks together. And I think the feeling amongst the group is positive. We've gotten to know each other on a much more personal level than a lot of other teams. We know tendencies on the field. We know tendencies off the field. We know what makes guys tick, like on and off the field. So I think the feeling around this group, just based off my personal experience, is just different from other years than other clubs I've played with. We're ready to literally give it our all, and it's come from the top. Fernando literally. Sorry, my computer kind of went crazy. I don't know what happened here. Kind of disappeared on the video. How does it work now?
No, you look good right now.
Where is this? Where'd it go? There you go. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. No. Fernando's kind of just instilled it in us to a winning mentality, and he's wanted that from the beginning. And I think it's kind of trickled down into every single player, from the coaching staff down. It's trickled down, and we have a really, really positive feeling going into the first match and into the first 8 matches. So I think all around the club we're really excited to get going and get the ball kicking.
Okay. So you mentioned Fernando there, quite a few times. Does he play a very important role in kind of setting the culture of the team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I don't know if you're gonna go now.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's our boss. He's the top guy in the club, but he's a boss in kind of the newfound wave of bosses. He will be on the pitch with us every single day watching training. He's not that guy sitting in the office kind of doing whatever he has to do and not really looking at us from a first a firsthand experience. He's on the pitch every single day in Spain, the same thing, on the pitch, on the sideline, watching training. So his kind of, the way he dedicates himself and the way he portrays himself does a huge service for everyone, because it shows that this is our boss, this is the head guy, and he's willing to come, watch training, stay in a bubble just like us. You know, he's here in the bubble just like us. He's going there, he's eating the same meals, can't leave the hotel. He's literally living like one of us. And that does huge things for the players, because we look like, hey, if this guy who can be at home, you know, doing whatever he wants, is with us, you know, grinding, then, you know, he wants us to win. And he shows that he believes in us, and he wants us to do whatever we can to win. So I think it does a huge justice for every single player, and the coaching staff included, that we are literally one. Like, you know, it's such a cliche, like, oh yeah, we're one. No, we are, from top to bottom, we are one unit, we are one family, and it's just gotten stronger over the course of the entire preseason leading into the first game.
Great. So Chris, you put out this video that was talking about how you're going to dedicate the Winnipeg, you're going to dedicate the Winnipeg Kickoff bubble to playing for Pride. Can you tell us a bit about, you know, what that means, and how you became involved?
Yeah, I'm super glad you asked that. So playing for Pride was actually, I was approached by it, or I saw it, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, I think 4 or 5 years back, when Austin Duluth from North Carolina FC, or I think that's the USL team. You know, he kind of started it off, or had a huge hand in starting off. I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, I approached him. We talked about it. He kind of let me know what was going on. And basically it was, Athlete Ally is an organization that helps promote equality and kind of fairness for the LGBTQ plus in sports. So I have friends who identify within the LGBTQ plus community, and it was something near and dear to me. So when I found something that was included my kind of two somewhat passions, you know, I have near and dear in my heart, and then I have, you know, my world in football. When the two worlds collided, it was kind of a match made in heaven. So, you know, I started the first one in that first season with Ottawa. And basically what it is I set a set amount per game. It's dedicated by myself per game I play, per win. It can be per goal, per assist. I have a set amount. And then whatever I do over the course of that month, usually it's Pride month, but we weren't playing. So usually it's June 1st to July 1st. But obviously we weren't playing. So I dedicate that set amount, and then I kind of update my followers via Twitter and Instagram of what I'm going to be dedicating, either per game or per week, whatever kind of all comes up. I'll do a tally. I know we'll probably have 3 games a week, so I'll kind of just do a weekly total. And then I donate at the end of the month what the entire total is. And then I encourage fans, you don't even have to be a fan, I encourage anyone really to kind of follow along the journey. They don't have to donate exactly what I'm donating. They can donate and they don't have to donate anything at all, as long as they're kind of just getting awareness out there, because it's such a huge thing where players, or coaching staff, it could be anyone, are almost afraid to come and be themselves. And that's the kind of thing, is themselves, they just want to be themselves. And to have someone who may not necessarily be able to step on the field and be their true self, I couldn't even imagine. Sometimes if I'm hiding an ankle injury, or I'm hiding someone stepped on my toe for a second, it's tough to not say anything. So I can't even imagine. I literally can't even imagine someone not even be able to be themselves while on the field. And for me, it's more just kind of getting acceptance, because I know what the world of professional sports can be, and it could be a very tough place for someone in a position like that to be open about their sexuality. But I think it's super important that myself and players around the league, or people even around the world, are just open and more receptive to someone being able to be their true self on the field within a professional environment, because I know it's difficult, and like I said, I can't even imagine.
So obviously, like, the money donation is important, but you've been playing so you've been playing professionally for how long? This is
my it's a 2013, I believe. So it's like 8 years.
8 years. Yeah. Have you being a professional athlete and playing in professional leagues, have you noticed the way that we talk about these issues, changing over the course of that time, like, especially in, playing in men's leagues, which, are maybe
but I know
typical environments, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Without a doubt. I mean, even over the course of the last 2 years, I've noticed a huge shift. I mean, obviously you see going on now, Manuel Neuer on one of the biggest world stages is wearing a rainbow armband, so you didn't see that a year ago. You didn't see that, 2 years. So of course the world is shifting to be more accepting, which is fantastic. From my own experience, in the locker rooms, from in the past, you almost hear sort of these slurs being kind of thrown around that may not necessarily have any kind of context. People are just using these kind of words to use the words and just, they don't know maybe what it can do to someone who might be struggling. But the leagues that I've played in, the USL and now the CPL, have done huge things and huge step forwards to eliminate these little things and punish people for doing these kind of things and using these words or using derogatory, whatever it may be, just being kind of a quote unquote bad human, and there's punishment. And I think that's good, because it means that, this is not accepted anymore. This is not allowed. We shouldn't be doing this. And we have to move forward as a collective in order to just benefit everyone. So, I mean, to round that up, yeah, absolutely. There's been huge strides from the moment I started playing until now.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So Antoine, I got a question for you. So you, the club put out a few tweets kind of congratulating you because you graduated high school. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
I did graduate high school. The funny thing about it is now I've been in. Thank you. So I went to Le Collège Saint Alexandre, and I've been, and they supported me so much throughout my journey. I started in grade 8, or actually grade 9, which is called Secondaire 3 on the Quebec side. I'm a French guy, so I speak a lot of French, and it's a French school. So in grade 9, when I started with the Fury, I was going to training in the morning, missing school. And then the year after, I traveled to Germany. I traveled to Spain for the first week of preseason. Now this year, I traveled to Spain again for 2 months. And initially it was supposed to be 1 month, which got extended to 2 months. So they've supported me tremendously throughout my journey. And I'm very grateful for that. So I graduated last week. I actually missed my—
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I missed my celebration, which was actually yesterday. But I got a FaceTime with my friends, which was pretty nice. So I'm done high school.
Right on. So so you were unexpectedly in Spain for another 5 weeks, I think. I think.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So were you doing schoolwork while you were in Spain as well?
I was doing a little bit. Obviously it's a little bit difficult when you're away, because I wasn't expecting to be away for that long.
Yeah.
But like I said, the school supported me a lot, and they were sending me homework every week. I was doing exams. I was doing a lot of schoolwork to catch up, which eventually led to not that much, because by the time I came back, school was already over. And thankfully I got exempted from my final exams due to I was a very good kid in school and I had good grades. So they said, you know what, you've done all this work and you've maintained good grades for all of your last year in grade 11. So you're exempted from the final exams. And I had a call with the principal, and she said, congratulations, wish you the best for the future, and you've graduated. So that was that. I
can tell you, he definitely did his work in school. It's quite funny, because I remember being on the field one day, and I think you were asking one of the assistant coaches, I think he was asking Ajay about a potential schedule for tomorrow or the next day or whatever it was. For me, it was strange because he doesn't really care. He wakes up, whatever the schedule is. So I was like, oh, you have something to do, because we're all in Spain in a bubble and nobody has anything to do.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I have an exam tomorrow. And I looked around, I said, Jesus, I said, yeah, exams. I said, you're in high school. So I completely forgot. And I was like, yeah, you're a little kid. And I was just, I want to play FIFA. Oh, I can't. I have to go do this. Okay, go do your homework. So, I can tell you.
So Antoine, we're like, where Chris or like any other teammates like kind of on, on you, like making sure that like you're doing your homework and.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty funny one. So one of the guys, I'm sure you know of, Brian Wright. He was following me. He would make sure that I was up because I'd like to have naps in the afternoon after training, because obviously training is tiring, and I'm exhausted after training. I work hard. So he'd make sure that I was in school at 3:15 on the dot, not in class. And he would check in, he would call, he would knock on my door. So he was pretty intense with that.
Almost too intense at times, but
yeah. So it was definitely good, but I did do my.
So you had a principal like with you in training.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. Okay. So something in my head, like, that I hope for this podcast, by playing, by talking to players like you two, who have made the leap to playing professionally, is to find lessons that can help younger players who like want to make that leap but like haven't yet. Chris, you've been playing professionally for a long time. Antoine, you've turned pro recently. So you're both at different stages, but you've both made that leap. So I was wondering if like there's any lesson that you've learned so far in your pro career that that you wish you had known before you turned pro.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing is it's going to be hard. There's hard work. It's a tough road. There are ups and downs. It is a roller coaster, and no one journey is the same. It's all different. Talking with teammates, we all went on different paths to different countries, through different academies, through whatever it may be, and we all ended up, sitting at this table, playing for Atletico Ottawa, doing what we love. So I think if I can tell a younger version of myself, or even a young kid coming through the systems, is one, expect kind of a bumpy road. Don't expect it to be roses at all times, but know that at the end of the road, there's always someone who is going to believe in you. There may be a coach who may not like you, and there's definitely going to be a coach who loves you. So it's kind of a bumpy road that you're going to have to go through. And no matter what, if you keep working hard, and I know, again, a cliche, but if you keep working hard and keep doing it and keep believing in yourself, no matter what, always believe in yourself, then there are many, many things you can achieve, especially in this game, because it's growing so fast, and we can see with the talent coming out of Canada now, it's growing so fast. And as long as you know that you can do it, and you can believe in yourself, and legitimately, if you want to work hard enough, that you can, there are opportunities for young players to be something special now. And anyone can do it. And I honestly believe that.
I was going to say, Chris stole the words out of my mouth, but I was going to say, for me, the two biggest things, the first one, Chris touched on it a lot, is the hard work. It's not going to be easy. Everyone has their path to getting to the pro game. But at the end of the day, we're all here, and we're all doing and playing the sport we love. But for me, it's once you're there, there's a lot of things that I've learned that are out of your control. You're not always going to be a starter. You're not always going to be in the squad. There's always someone who's there to take your spot, or you may not always be the favorite in someone's eyes, or even in the manager's eyes. But at the end of the day, it comes down to yourself, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to have that confidence, and to know that you're here for a reason. Even if Chris is 27 and I'm 17, we're still teammates. We're still, in a way, on the same level. So I think once you're there for a reason. And the biggest thing for me is confidence and believing in yourself, and going out there and just show your passion, show what you love to do, just showcase yourself.
Right on. So we're really hoping, to have fans at TD Place this year. And, we're going to want to pack as many people as is allowed. So how would each of you describe this team? Like, if you were in charge of if you were in charge of like selling tickets, like how would you make, Nick Ryan's job as easy as possible?
It's a tough one. No, it's fine. But no, as easy as possible is we're a team backed by one of the biggest clubs in the world, and willing to kind of fight until the end. You know what I mean? Like we have that desire instilled in us, and I don't think it's going anywhere for the entire season, regardless of the first 8 games, regardless of the first 27 games. On that last game, we'll do everything we can to win. And 2, I think we're gonna play an exciting brand of football. Mista has us. We're a well-oiled machine. We're ready, and I think the fans are honestly genuinely going to enjoy us watching us play, because the talent from the guys from last year, as well as the new additions coming together and just being cohesive. Like, we're a good team, man. And I think honestly, once we start going out there and playing these games and the fans can watch us, they're going to know that, we're an exciting team. And especially when we pull some results, I think, maybe a few bandwagon fans might hop on, and when we don't mind, we'll take them all, because they're still part of our family. Even if they come for 10 minutes of a season, it doesn't matter. But I think for us, it's once the fans kind of see us play and see us get out there, I think they'll be really excited to back a team that is cohesive and ready to win.
Yeah. Chris said it all, but for me, just to add on that, we have the desire, it's in us. We want to win. So basically we're in it to win it, and that's it.
Right on. So I'm gonna just take that clip and just send that to Nick, and he can just post that online.
Yeah, go on.
Beautiful. All right, guys. That's all the questions I got for you. You've been generous with your time. I really appreciate it. I can't, wish you the best of luck, and we'll be cheering you on.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having us.